You have 1 hour before the noise. The inbox is still dark. The first message has not landed yet, the first meeting has not pulled you under, and the day has not yet handed you its long list of small, urgent, forgettable things. For this one quiet hour, you get to decide what the day is for. Most people skip the deciding. They let the day decide them, and by 9 o'clock they are reacting, answering, fighting fires they did not light. This is about the single question you ask before any of that begins. Not a to-do list, not a vague wish to be good or productive. One specific, hard, chosen aim set on purpose before the day fills up. Because a vague good intention evaporates the moment the noise arrives, a chosen aim survives it. The difference between those two mornings is the difference between a day you ran and a day that ran you. 250 years ago, one of the most productive men in history asked himself exactly this. Benjamin Franklin was a founder of a nation, an inventor, a diplomat, a publisher, a man who packed 5 careers into one life. And in his autobiography, he leaves us the most famous daily schedule of the American Enlightenment, drawn out hour by hour. At the top of it, beside the early morning hours, he wrote the question he put to himself before anything else. The morning question, what good shall I do this day? Sit with how strange that is for a man so busy. He did not begin by asking what he had to do. The obligations were already there, screaming the way yours are. He began by asking what good he would choose to do. He made the day point somewhere before the day could point him. The list of duties is what the world hands you. The good you will do is what you hand the world. Franklin knew which one had to come first, because the one that comes first is the one that survives contact with the hours. Now you might think a question that soft, what good shall I do, would dissolve into nice feelings and nothing more. And it would if you left it vague. This is where the science walks in and sharpens it. 2 organizational psychologists, Edwin Locke and Gary Latham, spent 35 years running the most validated theory in their field. They compared people given specific hard goals against people simply told to do their best. And the finding is brutally clear. Specific and difficult goals beat do your best by a wide margin, something close to half a standard deviation of performance. Translation: you gain a real, measurable chunk of output not by working harder, but by naming exactly what you are aiming at and aiming high. Read those two together and the morning question stops being a sentiment and becomes a tool. What good shall I do this day is the spirit. One specific hard thing is the form it has to take. Not be helpful today. Finish the hard section of the proposal before lunch, not make progress. Have the difficult conversation with the head of the team by noon, not do some deep work. Ship the analysis you have been avoiding for a week. The aim has to be concrete enough that tonight you could say plainly whether you hit it or missed it, with no room to negotiate the verdict. A vague aim lets you off the hook every evening. A sharp one does not. Franklin gives you the question. Locke and Latham tell you the answer has to have edges. But here is the trap, and it is the one that catches ambitious people hardest. You will be tempted to answer the morning question with 5 good things or 10. You feel capable, the morning is fresh, the whole day looks open, and so you load it. And in loading it you quietly kill it, because a day pointed at 10 things is a day pointed at nothing. This is where a third voice belongs in your morning. Greg McKeown, who writes about what he calls essentialism, argues that the disciplined pursuit of less is not laziness but the highest form of focus. His whole case is that almost everything is trivial and only a very few things are essential, and that the real work of a serious person is choosing between them. He frames it as a single hard test you hold each task up against. If it is not a clear yes, treat it as a clear no. So the morning question answered well is actually 3 moves in one. Franklin's prompt, what good shall I do today? Locke and Latham's demand, make it specific and make it hard. And McKeown's filter, make it one clear yes chosen on purpose while the inbox is still dark and the choosing is still yours to make. Watch what changes when the day has an aim before it has noise. The noise loses its grip on you. Every day still arrives carrying 100 small urgent things, and every one of them will try to convince you it is the most important thing in the world. But a request can only hijack a morning that has no destination of its own. When you have already named the one good you will do, the rest of the day's noise meets resistance. It has to argue against something. The aim becomes the thing you measure interruptions against, instead of the thing interruptions quietly replace. And the vague good intention finally gets some teeth. Wanting to be productive, wanting to do good work, wanting today to count, these are real and they are useless because they cannot tell you what to do at 9:15 when 3 things land at once. A specific aim can. It does not just describe the kind of day you want. It tells you in the moment of pressure which fire to ignore. That is the whole difference between intending good and directing it. There is one more thing that loosens, quieter than the others. The serious decision moves to the calmest hour you have. Most people decide what matters in the middle of the storm, exhausted, reactive, choosing the loudest thing in front of them. You will have already chosen deliberately while you were still clear. The hardest part of the day was never the work, it was deciding what the work should be. Do that at dawn on purpose, and the rest is just execution. So ask the question before the day asks anything of you. I ask one thing first this morning: what good shall I do today? I answer it with one aim, not 10, and I make that aim a clear yes. I make it specific enough that tonight I will know exactly whether I hit it. I make it hard because hard and specific is where the real performance lives. I treat the trivial as a clear no, so the essential gets the hours it needs. I decide what matters now, in the quiet, not later in the storm. I let the inbox open only after the day already knows what it is for. That is the morning, one question asked before the noise, one aim chosen while choosing is still yours. If this set your day pointing somewhere, stay with this channel. Every morning, the question that aims the day, and tonight the question that answers it back. Where this morning asks what good you will do, the evening asks what good the day actually gave. Come back tonight for the Night Office of Compline and Psalm 4, the gratitude researcher Robert Emmons and the poet Mary Oliver, the evening that counts what the day gave, the mirror of this morning's question. Begin disciplined, end reflective. Now choose one.